So think it, unfortunately, is just a bad word. It's like the F word if you were at church, not at the Gary Vee show. Think it. Well, think it, we have this view of that being like we're thinking of something new. But we can't think of anything new. You can't.
Experience new. You can't surprise yourself.
You can't
all the past.
think of something new. It's impossible. So what you have to think is what is. It's not like we're creating something with this word think it. It's really accept it, examine it. I don't care how smart you think you are, and how many sticks you rub together. You could try so hard for an infinite amount of time and you would not think of something new. You know why? Because there's nothing new under the sun. Your last thought is the newest thing that you know that will ever exist. And that's the space. That's why he focuses on all those weird things, because if you can get in this place to where you are taking the time to run the little laser beam over your upper body or your legs or whatever, and then it's spinning through into outer space, what he's doing is activating your brain to become aware of what? Who you are in the physical realm. And then he takes you through the transition of what do you not want? I don't want this anxiety. Great. Let's remind ourselves what it feels like to have the anxiety. That way we can be really sure that when we don't have it, or when we do have it, that we can take these steps to change it. Clarity. And then surrender it to infinite possibilities or greater intelligence. Then what would it feel like not to have this anxiety? And then let me give you 3 steps. In the morning, when you wake up and you feel that feeling coming on, what do?
Change the action equals a new experience.
So all he's doing this entire time is programming, rewiring your brain with your own thoughts. All based on the old story, not the new story. So that you can experience the new story. Because you have no idea that the new story's in there. You have no idea what it feels like to not have to deal with alcohol, do you? No. It's been a bitch your whole life, as long as you can remember. Probably. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's affected your entire life, all of your relationships, from as early as you can remember. Mm-hmm. So you have to allow yourself to experience that, to know that for what it is, to see it, to examine it for what it is, so that you can now surrender yourself to infinite possibilities. Well, you don't know what it feels like to not have alcohol control your life, do you?
No.
Okay, but you have a general idea of what it might feel like. Mm-hmm. If it didn't affect every relationship that you had. If that, it might feel pretty good to be able to hang out with your family and not be the guy that they're always worried about. It might feel pretty good to be sure of yourself, ensure that you're not going to fuck everything up this time. And you get a job and you get a car and you get this and you get that, and you're sure that a couple months down the road you're not just going to find yourself isolating with a bottle in your hand. I mean, you can imagine that would feel pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's your new. We don't know because we've never been there. That's why we can't think of anything new. But by looking at where we came from, it positions us to the possibilities of something greater than. And then we force ourselves to rewire the old. And we, just for a moment in time, we begin to see what life would look like. And then our body reacts to that. Because our body knows what it feels like to not have stress. And then we go, wake up, do the things that we need to do. And then we go back here, and we examine, and then we see it. And then we do it, and then we go back here and examine. See it and do it. You know, that's why I text Jake and I'm like, you know, y'all need to, why don't y'all sit together and go over the packet or something with Kevin. It's just as much, if not more, for them as it was for you. Because we have this weird thing inside of us. It's called preservation. When we live in the flesh, we think we're animals and we forget about the bad things in life that happen to us. And see, the thing is that that's the one thing we can't forget about. So one of the best ways to remember that is to work with others. I wonder why that's in the steps. Wonder why Jesus said go make disciples. Because he knew that when you had to sit down with people and talk and kick the ball back and forth or bounce the ball back and forth or throw the effing ball back and forth, that it would force this. What is this? Energy. It's different. It's different than anything that's going on out there. First time you came here, you never experienced anything like this before in your life. You couldn't even imagine a table with a bunch of dudes sitting around talking to each other like this, could you?
No.
No, of course not. Couldn't even think it. You had no idea. You had no idea there'd be a reason to think it. So how could you think it? But it's here. It's undeniable now that you're here, isn't it? From the outside, it's like, holy crap, that's the weirdest looking crap I've ever seen. Those people are weird, dude. I don't know what it is. It's just like this weird, but it's like one of those things that you can't stop looking at once you've seen it. You're just like, oh man, that is weird. Look at that. That is the weirdest thing. You just can't stop. Because it has its own energy force that will take over your life if you allow it to. And it is separate from this stupid thing right here, the three brains. And what he's saying is everything in which I've just said, but he uses different language. But I want you to not have to go back and listen to this thing over and over and over again until you freaking have an accident and you find yourself with some pain, which forces you to examine the undeniable in your life. And then you think that, I can see why I have this pain in my life. Well, okay, what would it look like to not have this pain in my life? Okay, what are the things I need to do to not have this pain in my life? Great. And then one day it just is. Every month. I mean, I can set my clock to it. You go through a cycle. It is what it is, bro. It's an old story. We all do it in our own little ways. Every recovery program he's ever been to in his life goes through the same cycle. Comes in strong, gung-ho, everything's gonna be different this time, blah, 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 the mouth, but the body doesn't change. And then you find yourself in that pit. And you're like, shit, I thought everything was gonna be different this time. I've been to every recovery program on the planet, and now I feel the exact same way that I did at the last one, except for worse, because I don't know that there's any more treatment centers to go to. So what the hell? It's the willingness to become aware of that in your own life. A lot, over and over and over again. So that you can decode your insanity. You can hack your effed up brain, which is what you're doing. But to be able to do it, you gotta just be super aware of what's going on. When the moon changes, if it's raining outside, when it's hot, when it's cold. When I'm hungry, when I'm not hungry, when I have anxiety, when I don't have anxiety. And that awareness of all these things allows you to see things for what they are. Not what you want them to be. Based on some screwed up filter. And then you hack your brain. And you say, no, I know what's going on here. I can see it. It's friggin' undeniable. Happens every month. Happens every time it rains outside. Happens every time the seasons change. It happens every treatment center I go to, every new relationship I get into, every new job that I get, every time that I start sobriety. It happens. It's undeniable. I don't really have to think of something new. That's it. Now I've got the power. Now I can get in here and start tinkering. You can start changing. You're right, Jay.
This is fire. Like, I don't know. This is, whew. If anybody doesn't know what's going on, please speak up.
You know, I got,
This is it.
for me, I've got every teacher I've ever had in my entire life all speaking to me at the same time right now. And that's the quantum field. It's when you become part of the matrix and you begin to see the things that come together like this. It's like I can just hear every single one of them speaking at the same time. And you would think that that would be complete confusion. But you see, it isn't. Those are goose pimples right there. It's perfectly clear for me. But I've been putting myself in this position for a minute. This is the juice. It's what keeps me coming back. So we can have these moments in time. So that you can get that much closer to never going back to where you came from. So you can not start over every time there's a full moon. Every time the tide changes. So you don't have to shave your head every time and wear G.I. Joe green and khaki. That you've hacked yourself and you see things for what they are and you go, nothing's getting in the way of these long Goldilocks now. Because I'm changing. I don't have to do the same things in the physical realm to make these things happen in the internal realm. I'm not participating in that anymore. Seeing what that brings. Brings short damn hair. I'm gonna do something different. Something new. I'm gonna change something in here to make me feel different instead of changing something out here. I can't get that guy out of my head. We're gonna have to go back and listen to his video. What's his name? Can't change the rain, can't change the seasons, can't change, what's the guy's name? Jim Rohn. Remember Jim Rohn? We used to listen to Jim Rohn.
Work harder on yourself than you do your job.
That's it.
It's a land.